So before we go into the concepts of containers, Kubernetes orchestration or containerization, whatever we are about to discuss, first let us discuss you have an application. Okay. So if there is a developer, so why I'm starting in this technical manner in the sense we in the last session itself we have discussed about the different things like how you have to learn DevOps and what you are going to learn in Docker and Kubernetes, all these topics that we have already covered. Okay. So in this session, what we are going to discuss is, so before we go into the concepts of Docker, first let us understand how we can create a server in AWS. Server in the sense how we can create an easy to instance in the AWS. So this everyone knows about that who are very familiar with the cloud. Not only AWS, if you are interested, you can create in the Azure also. Okay. So first, let me show you what will be there in the AWS. If you are having an AWS account, so please try to create an AWS account. It is very important for you to create that. Okay. So now, if you see, this is how your AWS console will be looking like. This is how your AWS console will be looking like. In this, we will be having several options. This is called as the service grid, where you will have all the services available. Whatever the services that are provided by AWS, all the services you can say in this particular grid. Now, the next one, when we go for these are the sub services that are available. For example, if I go to the compute, in compute, you can see EC2 instance or else EC2 service is available where you can create the servers. Okay. So now, if you want to create a server, for example, server or EC2 instance, what is the primary requirement? Now, for example, there is a person. Let us have an what I can say real life scenario. Real life in the sense. Let us take an example of real life to the technical terms. For example, there is a person who has studied 10th class intermediate and he has passed CSE in a very high level, and his name is Ram or Ramesh. For example, Ram is there. Okay, he has completed his BTech or degree in the computer science background, computer science or else any other background. For example, he has completed that. Now, if he has to join, I mean, if for example, there are so many different companies are available. There are so many different companies are available. Okay. So if he has to be placed, he will be attending the interviews to all these companies. He will be attending to the interviews to all these companies. He will be joining in one of the company. Okay, so this Ram is going to join in one of the company. Now the point is, okay, he is joined in this company. So which means that he belongs to this particular network, to this particular company network. So he doesn't have any another communication or else any transferring data transfer between company to company until it is permitted by the management. So if the management gives the permission, then he can transfer the data to the another companies also. Now he is whole and solely belongs to this particular network. Okay. So in the same manner, if you want to create a server, so for whom you are creating the server, for example, you are working in a company. Okay, you are working in a company. This is your company. And inside this company, you are having some servers. For example, these are the servers that are available. Will you let any another other than your company people will you let any another people to access this server? This server? So which means that they can log in. So other than the external people who are coming out of your company, or they are able to access this server, you won't give the permission, which means that in your company, this is the security boundary for this server. So if you want to create the same configuration in the cloud, why? Because you need to create an EC2 instance for your companies or for your organizations. They will ask you to create the web servers. They will ask you to create the application servers. They will ask you to create the database servers or else Kubernetes cluster. So your company will ask you so many things. So what you have to do? So inside the AWS, inside an AWS or else Amazon account. So your company will have an AWS account. They will give you that AWS credentials, or else they are going to create certain users for yourself. Okay, the company administrator will create an user for yourself who is the latest joining into the company. So now what you can do, you can access that account, and inside the account they will give certain permissions to create the instances. So where we have to create these instances in AWS. So if you want to create any instance, try to concentrate, this very much important, this one. If you want to create instances, there are 5 things which are very important. So to create an AWS EC2 instance, 5 things are important. The first one is key pair. The second one is instance type, which type of instance you are selecting. And the third one is AMI. And the fourth one is subnet. And the fifth one is security group. Okay, these are all very important. So where you will have this subnet, the subnet will be present inside a VPC. VPC, what is meant by VPC? So VPC is a network boundary. Try to understand, VPC is a network boundary. So for example, now we are talking about AWS. We are going to create our EC2 instances in AWS. So EC2 will be created in AWS. So who will create that? So Chaitanya is creating this. Chaitanya is creating this. Why? Because he is having an AWS account. So he will create his own EC2 instance. So now in the world, I don't only have the access to AWS. So AWS is a public cloud. So AWS is a public cloud. So now as it is a public cloud, anyone can access. Okay, either Surya can access, or Balaji can access, or some whoever are there, anyone can create a AWS account. When they create the AWS account, they can create an EC2 instance. Not only me. So whoever are listening to this session, everyone can create an AWS account. Okay, everyone can create an AWS account. When you are creating your own AWS account, what you will do, you will try to launch an EC2 instance. You are going to launch an EC2. What is EC2 instance? Nothing but a server. Okay, you will launch your own EC2 instance. Now, if you are launching your EC2 instance, for example, if you think what I will do here is, this is the AWS global wide data centers. There is a lot of topic that we have to cover. Once you have a brief understanding about AWS, you will totally get this point. But if you don't know, don't worry. So this is the, for example, take this is the AWS data center. Okay, data center in the sense where all the servers will be available. So now what I am doing, I am creating my server in the data center. And for example, there is one more guy called as Charan. He is creating his server in the AWS environment. Bala is creating, there is another person called as Bala. He is also creating the EC2 instance. There is Anil. He is also creating his EC2 instance. There is Surya and Balaji. So there are so many people who are creating their EC2 instances. Now, if every instance is created in the AWS environment, if every instance is creating in the AWS environment, so then there is a probability, or else then there is a chance that each and every server will communicate with each other. Now, maybe, see, what I am trying to say here is I am the owner of that particular server. So I have to restrict the server communication. But here what is happening, each and every server will communicate with another server. So it is a very big drawback, or else it is very big security issue. So to overcome this problem, what I have to do, I need to create my security boundary. Okay, I have to create my own security boundary for my EC2 instance. This is my security boundary. For example, this is another user security boundary. So this is another user security boundary. Like that, you have to create your own security boundaries to make sure that your server is not communicating with the another server. Okay, another server in the another security boundary. Try to understand. I'm not talking about two server communication. One server in one security boundary cannot communicate with the another server in the another security boundary. And this security boundary, whatever we are talking here, it is called as an VPC. So where we are creating this EC2 instance, we are creating this EC2 instance in the VPC of AWS environment. How we are going to create that? So already what I can show you here is if you go to, so these are the regions. So AWS is a global platform. AWS is a global cloud platform or cloud service provider which can provide that services to entire globe. So in the each and every region, you will find out a data center. So there is certain thing called as global infrastructure of AWS that you will learn in the AWS things, not right now. But what I want to share you here is, for example, these are all the regions. If you go to any region, you will have a default VPC. So I say what I said you. I said you that you have to create your EC2 instance in a VPC. Without the VPC, you cannot create any sort of EC2 instances. To create a server, to create an instance in AWS, to create a virtual machine in Azure, to create an server in GCP, definitely you need to have a security boundary. In EC2, it is sorry, in AWS, it is called as VPC. In Azure, it is called as VNet, and some GCP also somewhere like virtual network itself, they are going to call. So these are the network boundaries that you need to have. So now when you go to the networking section, here you can see VPC. As I already said you that in each and every region, you will have a VPC. Default VPC will be there. Look at that. This is the default VPC, which is available in each and every region. Not only that, in not only North California, if you go to somewhere like Oregano, so there also you will have the default VPC. Like that, in each and every region, you will have your default VPC. So if you want to create any EC2 instance, you can create the EC2 instance in this default VPC itself. So you don't need to bother about creating your own VPC. Okay, so if you want to create VPC and you want to know in deep knowledge about the VPC, VPC creation, VPC peering, VPC NAT gateway, transit gateway, VPC VPN configuration, there are so many things in the VPC. If you want to know about that, you have to learn AWS. But the point is, so in each and every region, you will have a default VPC. So I will go to North California or else California region. Here I am having my security boundary. Now I can create my VPC. So sorry, now I can create my EC2 instance, nothing but my Docker server. How I can create that? Simply go to EC2. Okay. So here I am not talking about the on-premises servers, virtual machines, Docker or Kubernetes, anything. Simply, I am demonstrating you if you are having an AWS account, then how you have to create an EC2 instance. Why? Because those people who want to do the practice, definitely this particular session will be helpful for them to create an EC2 instance. Simply click on launch instance. Okay, click on launch instance. Now you have to provide the name of the EC2 instance. If you provide or not provide, it is not a mandatory one, but it's an optional one. Now here I said you the 5 mandatory things to create an EC2. Among those, the first one is AMI. So which operating system that you are going to choose, which image? So I will choose the Ubuntu image. Okay, go down. And the second one is instance type. Here I have clearly mentioned you need to have a base, you need to select the instance type. So now we are learning Docker. For learning Docker, T2 micro is sufficient. Okay, which is a free tier eligible. So which means that if you start the server and if you run the server, it won't be chargeable for you. VPC is free of cost and T2 micro instance is also free of cost. So you don't need to worry about that. And be very cautious. Again, I'm saying you select T2 micro only. for learning Docker. That's more than enough. It won't be chargeable for you. Right. I will select T2 micro. Now, what we are doing here, we are creating a server. We are creating a server in AWS account. This is the server which we are creating. Now, the server is created in US location. It is created in US location. Where we are residing in India location. The clients are residing in India location. Now, if they want to access this server, access in the sense, if they want to log in into the server, what they have to do, for example, if you want to log in into your system, what you need to provide? Everyone or CSE background? So can you tell me, if you want to log in into your system, not a CSE background, even first standard student also, first standard kid also will say that if you are having a desktop and you want to log in into the desktop, what you have to do? Don't say that I have to start the desktop and all the things. The desktop is started. Okay, now you want to log in into the desktop, or what I can say, into your laptop. How you have to do that? Tell me what you have to do.
You need a username and password.
Exactly. So you have to provide the username and password. So we are not coming to the IP address, just listen. So you need to provide the username and password. Okay. So now what you have to do, in the same manner, if you want to access this server also, definitely you need to have the username and password. But this is a Linux operating system. For Linux operating system, you won't find the, you will have the username and password, but this AWS EC2 instance, you don't have the username and password. So now what you have to do here is, you have to generate a key pair. So simple. So for example, you are in a home. Try to understand this example. You are in the home. Okay. Will you keep username and password to enter into the home? You won't keep username and password to enter into the home. Of course, nowadays everything is improved. AI came into the picture. We have to give the iris scan and biometric scan, like that. There are so many things are available to enter into the home. But I'm talking about the some years back, some 10 years back homes. So if you want to go inside the home, or else if you leave the home, what you will do, you will lock your home. So what are the key things for the locks? You will have a lock, and as well as you will have a key. Okay. Lock is publicly visible. Okay, whatever the lock, you locked your home and you went for a reception, or else you went for a party. Now at that time there will be lock. Lock will be there for your room or home. So everyone who is wandering across your home, they can watch the lock, which means that is a public property. If there are thieves, they can break the lock also, like hackers. So you will have a lock. Now you will have a key for that lock. That key is a private one. Whatever the key that we are discussing, that's a private one. So that private key will only be with user. So now your own home, and you will carrying the key. If you don't have that key, the lock will not open. So here itself you are having two things. One is the public key and one is the private key. So if you want to enter into your home, you have to use your private key. In the same manner, there is a server. In AWS, and if you want to log in into this server, what you have to provide? So in the server, you will have a public key. When you create a key pair in AWS, automatically a public key will be stored in the server, and private key will be available for the user. So automatically private key will be downloaded for the user. With the help of this private key, the user is able to log in into the server. With the help of private key, the user will be able to log in into the server. So the private key is of PEM format, PEM format. The private key is of PEM format. And if you are using any application, so if you are using any application like Putty, you have to convert this PEM format public key into this PEM format of private key into PPK format. Okay. So don't worry about all these things. You will get headache of this. So I am removing this particular thing, Putty and PPK. So, but in interview, there is a question. Maybe normal in interviews, they won't ask you this type of question, but I don't know if your fortune is very good and the interviewer might have a fight with his or her partner and they came to the interview, they will ask you a silly question. So in .pem format and .ppk format, which is the private key? If they ask you, what is your answer? If somebody asks you among the .pem and .ppk format, which is a private key. So I said you that .pem file will be downloaded into the user's system. So when anything that is available for the user, which type of key it is? Which type
Private
of
key.
It's a private key. Now tell me among PEM and PPK, which one is private and which one is public?
PPK is the private.
Then what about PEM?
I'm not sure. It's a public key.
I know this answer, I expected this answer, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Both are the private keys. Okay, both are the private keys, but in a different format, different version. Okay, different for a different utilities. One is for putty and the other one is for the uh, open SSH. Both are the private keys only. Don't get confused. Okay. So now the user is having the PEM file and the server is having the public key. So now let us create a key pair for both. Now what I will do, create a key pair. This is my docker underscore new. Docker new. I want that in the PEM format. Create a key pair. So when I create the key pair, here you can see one file is downloaded into my machine. Have you seen this? So if I open this, here you can see docker new.pem that is downloaded into my laptop. So which means that I am the user, I am having this file, which means it is a private key file. The server will have the public key. Now go down. So you don't need to create any sort of VPC. Defaultly, you will have a VPC. You can happily use the default VPC. I am using the default VPC here. And the subnet is select any sort of subnet, no problem. Here comes the security group. Okay, here comes the security group. Now, for a party or else for a function, you are going with your parents to buy certain jewelry. Okay, for example, I'm saying to give a gift to your friend or else anyone who is throwing the party, you want to purchase something. So you went for a mall or else you went for a jewelry shop. So whenever you are entering into the mall, who will be there or else who will you face first when you are entering into the mall itself? If you want to purchase a jewelry, you will go to a jewelry shop. So they will allow directly inside or else there will be
Security guy. Security guy.
yeah, there will be the security guy who is going to thoroughly check you. Okay, what you are carrying. Are you carrying anything suspicious? So he is going to check everything. Once your purchase is completed and you are coming outside of the mall, that much security won't be there. I can assure you that that much security won't be there. They will leave you freely. So which means that here incoming traffic, whoever are incoming into the shop or mall or any jewelry shop, there will be high security will be there. And whoever are coming out of the mall or else out of that particular security or else out of that shop, it won't be that much security. So this is called as whenever you are coming inside anything, that is called as inbound. You are going into a mall or else into a shop, that is called as an inbound. And whenever you are coming outside, then that is called as an outbound. Here also, there will be a security group. What it is going to do? So the user has to enter into my server. So the user has to log in into my server. So if the user has to log in into my server, he will be coming through the internet. He will be coming across the internet. Why? Because the user is in India and the server is in America. So from between these two nations, if you want to establish a communication, then that will be happening only through internet. So whenever you are coming over the internet, so then what happens here? Then there will be so many people who are trying to gain the access, nothing but the hackers who will be trying to gain the access with you, with your credentials. So now that should not be done, or else I don't want to allow any traffic that is suspicious into my server. I don't want to allow any suspicious traffic to enter into my server. For that reason, what I will do, I will create a security group. Here I am going to create a security group. This security group won't allow the traffic whichever I restricted. So in the security group, I am going to restrict, I will say that, or else I will provide certain rules that you have to allow only this type of traffic. You should not allow any another type of traffic. Then the security group will block it. So it is like a firewall for your server. Okay. So it is going to stop the traffic and nothing will be entering into your server. So now let us see what we can do with this security group SSH. So now what is meant by this SSH? So these are like protocols and port numbers. You will have certain protocols and port numbers. Who are working as a developers, they know about that. But who doesn't know? See, there will be, for example, let us take an aeroplane itself. Okay, you are traveling in a flight, and that there will be pilot. Pilot should have, or else pilot should follow certain protocols. At this particular time, you should be in this particular length, or else you should be at this particular distance. You should be at this particular height. So there will be certain protocols. So any rules that are specified is called as a protocol. Okay, any rule that is specified is called as a protocol. Now, for example, simply what I can say, if I want to access website, if I want to access website from a server, only web traffic has to be allowed. So how it will be allowed to get the web traffic? By using a protocol called as HTTP and HTTPS. If I want to get an access of mails, so there is a mail server. Okay, mails in the sense, mail server in the sense your Gmail, Outlook mails like that. So there is a protocol called as SMTP, POP, and IMAP. These should be enabled. So in the same manner, if I want to access this server, so whatever the server that you are seeing, if I want to access this server has to allow certain protocol to give the access for the end user. To give the access for the end user. What is that protocol? For Linux, if the end user want to access this server, the protocol is SSH. For Windows, it is RDP. For Windows system, it is RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol. For Linux server, it is SSH. Okay, through SSH, the user will be able to access this server. So now what I will do here is, I will simply allow that. So see here, inbound rule, SSH, TCP/22 from anywhere. So across the internet, any user can connect. If the user is having the private key and as well as the IP address. Now comes the point, what is the IP? I'm not going to go in deep about how IP addresses will be there, what is meant by subnet, what is meant by VNet or sorry, CIDR, everything. I cannot tell you right now. It is a very huge topic which I have to discuss. So I'm simply saying IP address is like just a mobile number. Okay. If you want to call some another person, you have to type the mobile number, then only that person will be in contact with you. So if you don't type any mobile number and just sitting calmly, then there won't be any communication. In the same manner, if I want to communicate from my server, or else if I want to access this server from my machine in the sense from my computer, definitely I need to have this IP address. So if you are having a friend and you want to call your friend, You need to have his number. Without having his number, you cannot call to your friend. In the same manner, if I want to access this server, I need to have a logical number to call or else to connect to this server. So what is that logical number? Nothing but an IP address. So that's it. So here, when you come back to the point, anywhere, and come down and launch the instance. Now we have launched the instance. Once we launch the instance, now what is going to happen? Here you can see a Docker instance is running. I want to, so simply I say that it is a Docker server, but inside the server I don't install. I don't have the Docker installed. So I need to install it now. How I can install? First I need to access this. First I need to access this server. So if you want to install a TV in your home, first you need to enter into the home and then only you can install the TV. Without entering into the home, how can you install the TV? In the same manner here also, if you want to install any application, first you need to access the server. How you can access the server? Simply go to command prompt or PowerShell. I'll go with the PowerShell. If you are having the Windows environment, simply what you can do in the search box, type PowerShell, come on, or you can type CMD, anything is fine. And you will have a console in front of you. So we have downloaded a key file. Where we have downloaded it? In this. So just simply copy the location. What you have to do? Simply copy the location. Go to PowerShell. So wherever you have downloaded the key file, copy that particular location. Go to the PowerShell, CD, give the location over there. So, okay, now you are inside the location where your key file is saved. SSH-I want to log in into that server. SSH-I docker underscore new. This is the PEM file that is downloaded into my laptop. So I am using that PEM file. PEM file is nothing but the private key file to log in into my server. So what is the server operating system that I have taken? In the beginning, what is the server operating system that I have taken? AMI, what is the
Linux.
AMI?
Linux.
Linux only. Which flavor? In Linux, there are so many flavors. Amazon Linux is there, Ubuntu is there, Red Hat is there, SUSE is there, Parrot is there, like that.
Ubuntu.
Exactly. I took the Ubuntu Linux. So for Ubuntu Linux, the username to log in into that server is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu Linux, we have to provide the username. So the username is Ubuntu. So just simply provide Ubuntu. And for Red Hat Linux, it is EC2-user. In Amazon, in AWS, when you go for AWS, for Red Hat Linux, it is EC2-user. For Amazon Linux also, it is EC2-user. Only for Ubuntu operating system, it is Ubuntu. Okay, Ubuntu @ provide the public IP address of the server. Here you have to provide the public IP address of the server. That's it. So now you will be logging into your server. Look at that. So now I am inside the server. Okay, good. So now what I want to do, I want to install the Docker. Okay. So how I can install Docker here? Sudo su -, I am becoming as a root user. Root user in the sense administrator in Windows operating system. In Linux, it is called as a root user. So now what I will do, apt update. Okay. And later what I will do here is I will install one utility. Why I am installing that utility, I will tell you. So this is how you have to create your instance in AWS and access the instance. apt install -y net-tools. Why I install that, I will tell you. So net tools are the utilities for running this particular command, if config. So if you see if config, Here it is showing you, here it is giving you the network adapters for your server. What is a network adapter? Network adapter is nothing but an entry point for your server. If anybody is trying to enter into your server from the outside world, he will be entering to this network adapter. Okay, he will be logging into your server through this network adapter. See, the way of explanation will not be that much technical in the introduction times. Why? Because I need to explain each and every candidate in lower level only. If I say that a network adapter is a networking device which will allow the traffic to enter into the server, then it is a little bit not, some people may not understand. So simply what I am saying, so network adapter is like a gate that will allow the traffic to enter into the server, or else it is like a gate that will allow the traffic to come out of the server. Okay, so this network adapter, how many network adapters you are having? Two network adapters. One is ENX0. This is the main network adapter, ENX0. So it will allow the traffic from the internet, and as well as it will send the traffic to the internet. And there is one more network adapter called as LO. LO means loop back. So in this network adapter, what it is going to do, it will check each and every networking thing. So whether your network adapter is working fine or else your application is working fine. If you want to check within your server, you have to use the loopback address simply for the testing purpose. Don't get confused. It is not that much important right now. Okay, so you are having two adapters. Why I am showing you this? Because let me install the Docker. So to install the Docker, we have to install so many things. I will tell you step-by-step installation of Docker in the upcoming time. But if I want to install in a single step, what I will do here is curl -sl https://get.docker.com and bash. That's it. That's it. Your Docker will be installed. So how it will be installed? Because in this get.docker.com, so let us go to that particular website. Now it is not a website, it is a shell script. Get.docker.com. Whatever the commands that you request to install or the Docker, all the commands will be available in this script. So if you run this, automatically the Docker will be installed. So hold on. Yes, Docker is installed. So here you can see Docker info. So we got the Docker install set up successfully. Now, why I shown you the Ethernet adapters? Because if config. Now, what is the difference that you find out? Previously also we executed the same command if config. Now also I have given the same command if config. Now, what is the difference that you find out? Yes,
Additional
network
adapter has
adapter
come.
is created.
Yeah.
So this adapter belongs to Docker. Why this adapter belongs to Docker? What this adapter will do, that we will learn in the upcoming time. So here we have a third network adapter created in the server when you install the Docker. Okay. So this is how you can create the EC2 instance in AWS and access the EC2 instance, and this is how you can install the Docker. So here I will stop. I don't go into very deep technicalities in the demo sessions itself. Why? Because it will be more and more overwhelming for you if I go with the Docker networking and all the things. So slowly we will start. But as of now, this is how we can work out with your AWS instances. So now what you will do here is go to like create an AWS account, create an EC2 instance, and try to access that EC2 instance slowly, step by step, slowly watch the video, slowly run the commands and access the instance, install the Docker, do one step after the another step. Later, we will discuss about how we can configure Docker. What there are so many things that we need to understand about Docker. So as of now, that's it. So now again, I'm telling you the course structure. The course will be of those who has came today newly attending the session. The course will be of 20 to 25 days, and the timings will be 7 to 8:30 p.m. So 1.5 hour of session will be there, and You will get each and every document whenever we complete the class. Automatically, you will get the document for that class, and as well as you will get the videos, and you will have the video access up to 6 to 1 month, 1 year. I don't know. I am not very sure about that. 6 months to 1 year. Why? Because DurgaSoft will handle that videos. And about the syllabus, you can go to the DurgaSoft website here. Also, if you go here, you can see what I can show you here is there will be sessions. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, this is my Docker and Kubernetes session. So here, sorry, the registration line. Here you will have the syllabus. From here you can get everything. Whatever I am discussing now, you will get the entire syllabus over here. Okay. So that's about the concept. 20 days. Maybe it will extend up to 25 days also. And every day you will have the session, and the session will be of 1.5 hours. Sometimes you will have the sessions on Saturday and Sunday also. Okay. And fees, DurgaSoft will tell you the fees also already, that is given in the message. In the chat box, you can check the fees details and how to pay the fees also. Okay. Am I clear? Any questions now?
So you use that APT. What is that APT?
It's a Linux it's a Linux package, or also what I can say, a package for installing the utilities, whatever the application that you want to install.
Yeah, it's like Windows update. It's a Linux
Yeah.
update. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Chaitanya sir,
yes.
yeah, on the link it shows 8 p.m. But you said it is 7 p.m. India time, correct?
It is 7 p.m. India time from Monday. Tomorrow also you will have the session at 8 p.m. only.
Only. So the demonstration will still be at 8 p.m., but actual class will start coming Monday, and it will be 7 p.m. India time,
Yes.
and it will be an hour and a half, correct? And it will be
Yes.
Monday to Friday. But if you need more sessions, you might ask us to join Saturday and Sunday.
If I have to complete the topic and the topic is very large, okay, if I have to complete that, then I will ask you to come on Saturday and Sunday. Why? Because
Oh.
see, we have to complete the sessions by 20. Here they have given 20 days. Okay, it will take more than 20 days also. It will consider it as 25 days. Now,
Okay.
again saying you the thing, I am not like another trainers that who is going to complete Docker or else Kubernetes within 5 to 10 sessions. If I complete that, you won't understand anything also. Okay. It's a very, very, very prolonged topic. There are so many things that you have to understand neatly so that when you go for a job opportunity, you can crack it easily. Okay. So it will definitely take time. I will tell you when you have to attend the session, or at that moment, I mean, like before 2 days or before one day, I will definitely tell you this weekend whether you are having the session or not. At that time, if you attend the session, that's more than enough. Am I clear?
Yeah. And is there any certification we can prepare for after this training?
Happily, you can do CKA certification, Certified Kubernetes Administrator.
Okay.
But the point, again, telling you, 60% of the marks you can gain from the concepts which I am saying. Okay. But remaining 40%, you have to put your efforts. Am I understand? I mean, is my statement understandable to you all? So by completing the course, it is very clear that you can attend the CKA examination. But the point is, I will give my efforts up to 60% of the marks. I will give 100% of my efforts to get the job. But certification perspective, you can get 60% of the marks from my concepts. And remaining, you have to put the efforts. You have to search for in-deep analysis. Am I clear with this? Why everyone is in silent mode?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. If I say yes, you will definitely crack the certification by this course, then I know that there are so many people who won't see the at least one document also in the internet. They blindly follow my videos. Okay, so you can follow that, but the point is, at least if you put some efforts, so that there will be some theoretical questions, or else there will be some. It is not like a question answer session. It is totally multiple choices. So you will be given with 3 hours of time, and you have to complete the certification or certification exam. And the entire certification exam is a practical oriented exam. Practical in the sense, you will have the multiple choice. You have to execute the practical. Whatever the output that you get, that you have to give in the multiple choice. So, and one more thing, it is like they will give you the what I can say answers also. Besides the website, like they will provide you a website also. You have to just check out the website and put the answers, and you have to check out the website and do the practical and put the answers. It will be simple, but the point is you have to put your efforts also. Okay.
Yeah, Chaitanya sir, one last question. You said as you show practicals, you will be showing in AWS and sometime in Azure. Is there a possibility of showing us inside our own machine, local machine, like a Linux machine or a VM player, VM, something like that, where we can.
Resources won't be sufficient for you.
Okay.
Resources won't be sufficient for you inside your system. Definitely, you have to take the 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM minimum should be there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have upgraded one of my computer to 16 GB, in fact 32 GB. So I was wondering if any one session you can, or any document I can follow.
Yeah, you can install in your system. I don't have any problem. Like, see, I will give you the theoretical practical concept. Okay, by seeing the videos, if you run in your system also, I don't have any problem. Where comes the problem is if I am saying any load balancer concept. So load balancer will only be acceptable in the cloud environment.
Gotcha.
Okay, at that particular time, you will face some issues.
Oh, got it.
Right. Questions?
Yeah, you mentioned like network adapter, right? Can I imagine is it like a NIC card?
Yeah, NIC only. That is what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to clarify. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And one more question. Microservice. Will you cover some topic related how basically how we are converting monolithic to a microservice and then adding it to a container, some type of.
That will be totally. I will give you explanation about what is monolithic and what is microservices. But converting is totally into the developer hands. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Fine. Any questions apart from this?
I just wanted to check, if there is any sample microservice, can you show us, like, like addition or multiplication kind of.
That I will show you. That I will show you.
Put it on a Kubernetes cluster like pod or something. See how to access.
Every day you will have that session. You will be accessing that visually. You are going to see that. I will show you. Don't worry about that. It's my assurance for you. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, guys. So tomorrow you will have a session on Saturday. That will be the last demo session for you. And from Monday onwards, the demos won't be there. And who has paid the fees, they will be joining into the paid link sessions. And yeah, so at 7 o'clock in IST. Okay.
Chaitanya sir, one more last thing. There are a lot of containers out there, correct? Docker is definitely most popular. But there is, I understand there is OpenShift and others. So
OpenShift is an orchestration tool. Again, it is equivalent to your Kubernetes. If you come to the containerization, there is Podman. If you are especially with Red Hat Linux, that is Podman. This is also a containerization platform. Okay, versus Docker. Okay, Podman and Docker both are the same. Podman and Docker are both containerization tools. And as well as you are having one more tool called as container D. One more tool called as RKT. Okay, so like that you are having so many another containerization tools. Sorry, your question. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. So basically, just I want to understand different containerization software available, like 3 or 4, and then
There are
the
so many.
orchestration software like Kubernetes, and I heard about OpenShift, but there could be some other ones.
Kubernetes, OpenShift, and there is Docker Swarm is also available. Okay, Docker Swarm is also one of the containerization tool that we will learn. Like that, we are having so many things. So sorry, not orchestration tools. Orchestration tools. See, Kubernetes, OpenShift, Azure AKS. These are the managed services. Azure AKS and Amazon EKS. Docker Swarm, Nomad. And here, have you ever gone through this concept of Terraform? Do you know what is a Terraform is? Okay, don't worry. We are not going to discuss about Terraform, but there is the company called as HashiCorp. So those who are developed Terraform, they have their own orchestration tool also. So that is called as Nomad. Okay, where is it? This is the Red Hat. So for Red Hat users, there is Red Hat OpenShift equivalent to Kubernetes. Not much on that. So Apache Mesos, this is also one of the orchestration tool. And Amazon EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service is there. That is also one of the orchestration tool. Google Kubernetes Engine, it is also one of the orchestration tool. And Azure AKS is also one of the orchestration tool. Like that, you are having so many other things. Okay, these are all comes under the picture. And containerization, Docker, Podman, RKT, Containerd, like that. There are so many other tools also available. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Questions? Okay. I don't see any questions from the other people. Have a nice day. We'll meet in the next session and discuss about what is meant by what is an on-premises server, what is a virtual machine, what is a container. So if you are going across these things, you will slowly understand one after the other in a perfect manner.
So, sir,
Like,
do we have to join the demo session tomorrow, or it's the same
yeah,
repeat you will be doing?
same. That will be a demo session. So now here, see, in my perspective, whatever we are discussing in the demos, those are also equivalently important for your normal sessions. In my perspective, your course is started. Okay. If you think in your perspective, these are all still we are going with the demos, you can think like that also. But these are the basics which I am telling. When we go on to the course, I am not going to discuss about how to create an EC2 instance. I am not going to discuss about how to install the Docker. Already Docker will be installed. So what we can do other than these things, that we will see in the next upcoming time. Okay. These are like fundamentals. Fine then. Have a nice day, guys. Is there anything that you want to ask me apart from this?
Yeah, I have no question. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Fine then. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.